Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Welcome, Sunday. Hope you guys are having an incredible weekend, Valentine's weekend. Uh, thank goodness it hasn't been a crazy news week. Hey, Mary, Lourdes. So, Patty, hi. Good evening. So, hey, Shashan, Amber, Winterfresh. Mary, Watch, Lori, Rebecca, Arca, and Aaron. I'm trying to get Robin, Dawn. I'm trying to get everybody in. Lemon, Laura K. Welcome, Laura K. I got your message, and I love you. Thank you so much for the concern. Ethel, Victoria, Richard, Kimber. We're gonna address a lot of the stuff again. I haven't get. Good evening, Hammy man. I haven't got a chance to read Cheryl. Much love all your DMs. I'm gonna go through them because it's been a Ludmila, I love you. Daniel, I love you, my son. Sally, thank you so much. The Cohen video, we're gonna go over everything. So thank you so much for everything. And I appreciate the concerns. And Rob Perot, Aaron, Sandra, hi, Kristen, Smokey, Joe, welcome, welcome. I give it another 20, 30 seconds. We have a lot to go over. We have a lot of breaking news that we're going to discuss. We're also going to go over what's in the week in the head. A lot of stuff that I'm going to be talking about. We're definitely going to address Michael Cohen. Michael Wolf today is a very important. So we have a lot to talk about, and so I hope you guys have some time. I hope you maybe grab some. I wouldn't say coffee, maybe a drink. I think at this time, maybe a drink. You need a drink or a late night or some sort of, you know what I'm saying to you, to be able to unwind, relax before bed. Hopefully, I'm not going to be give you anything that's not going to let you sleep, because I do have a lot of positivity and hope, and I think this is going to be not only a positive week. I got a lot of fingers crossed. I'm waiting Monday, Tuesday, some very big news. If I get it, this is part of some big announcements that I'm planning to make very shortly. So stay tuned, folks. It's just the beginning. So let's go over our itinerary for the day, for today, for tonight. You got your shirt today. Oh, you already got your shirt. Wow, Delta, can you take a picture of your? Anybody get, because they're telling me it's a week. You guys are getting it quicker than me. So if anybody is getting any of your Wolfpack gear, T-shirts, anything, please take a picture, post it so we can start reposting, because it's part of what I'm going to be talking to you today about. Something incredible and something, because when I woke up, when I went to sleep last night, put it to you this way, my plan for today, I absolutely grab your shirts and gear. There's so much more gear coming up. We got a cookbook coming out. I'm going to do a special book with pictures and stuff, never before seen pictures. We're going to put together, and we're going to do figure out how to don't use that proceeds to fight our fight for the survivors, for the Epstein, for whatever we need, lawyers, schmoyers. So we're going to use that from that. So we're going to figure all of that out. In the meantime, these are a limited edition. Grab them while you can at levremembers.com. I'm waiting for mine myself, so I can't wait ready to get them, put them on. I ordered the hoodies. I ordered the T-shirts. Today, I think the hats are in. So if you haven't been on, go on. The hats are in today, and mugs, coffee mugs are in. So definitely. Where is where do you want to send the recipes? At Lev at PPP, at Lev PTTP at proton.me. Lev PTTP at proton.me. Our volunteers there will take your recipes. So anybody with some old school family recipes from the Wolfpack, definitely send them in, because we're going to do a nice cookbook, the Wolfpack cookbook. I love it. We're going to have Dean soup in there. We're going to have some, and it's going to be international. Just think about it. So I can't wait. So definitely, if you guys get them, take your pictures with them and put them out there on Substack. We're all going to restack them and show them, because this is just the beginning. So anyway, we'll get back to that, because we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the Wolfpack. So love you guys. But we got topic number one topic we're going to discuss is Roger Sollenberg. Roger Sollenberg broke some incredible breaking news about what is going in the Trump administration and the Epstein Files, and that and my son. For those of you that seen what my son Aaron actually continued with the news, saying that it looks like Pam Bondi perjures herself excuse me, perjures herself in the hearings because of certain things. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over, very importantly, Michael Wolff's the slap suit against Melania. I've been working behind, as I told you, Michael Wolff has blocked me. Michael Wolff came to my attention when he went after Ellie Leonard. Ellie Leonard basically wrote a lot of information about Michael Wolff and his when the Epstein files started dropping. Because prior to that, okay, let me give you a quick background about Michael Wolff. Prior to the Epstein files dropping, literally a day before. Listen, this is how God works. Literally a day before the Epstein files drop, Michael, I speak to Wajahid Ali and others, and even Michael Cohen. Interesting, Michael Cohen at the time, to be able to get in touch with Michael Wolff, because a couple of days prior to that, Michael Wolff did a live on Substack. He was doing going on all these lives, raising all this money through a GoFundMe. And I was curious what his game plan was and what he was going to do. And I wanted to have him on my Substack, and he wanted to come on. And we were trying to figure out, talking about it. And then all of a sudden, the Epstein Files drop came out. And then the Epstein Files drop came out. All of a sudden, all of this stuff about Michael Wolff and his complicity and his interaction. And basically, folks, help me out with some of the answers there. Some people are asking where they could get the shirt or where they could send recipes. So volunteers, I love you guys to go to work, help me out, help people out, where to contribute, where to get the stuff. We have a lot of new people in the family, or we have a lot of people joining. So folks, help them out with the questions so I don't get disrupted. We'll do a Q&A later on because I want to make sure everybody's getting answers. And then once we finish with all the important answers, I promise you we'll do some Q&A also. And by the way, Lev's Army or Jay, if you guys are there, start seeing if there's any very important questions or they're being up. So you could DM me, and I could, so this way I could know what everybody wants to talk about. Thanks, Gen Up Democracy. Definitely, absolutely appreciate all the work. There. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, guys. Okay. Michael Wolff. Getting back to Michael Wolff. So he came on my radar right about that time because he stopped responding to people. He stopped coming on shows. I spoke to Wajahid Ali, and Waj said to me, Lev, I've reached out to him, and he does not respond back. At the same time, Ellie Leonard started doing a lot of reporting about Michael Wolff, and I started watching, and all of a sudden, he went after Ellie. He went after Ellie. He went after, started blocking her. I spoke to Ellie, and I'm like, what's going on with this Michael Wolff guy? She started telling me, listen, I have no idea. He has a lot of things that he has questions to answer. He's all over the Epstein files. And he blocked me. So I took it as my initiative, and I then went and I typed up Michael Wolff, and I emailed him, and then I went and started going live, calling him out, saying, Michael Wolff, you need to come on, you need to answer some questions. Michael Wolff right away blocked me. So he also blocked me, but Michael Wolff has no idea who I am, and he doesn't know my Rolodex. I know with my 6th degree of separation, and that's why Michael Cohen's starting to find out also. There's almost nobody that I can't get to or that I don't know in this world, because I've lived an incredibly fortunate, even though it might be wild, crazy, but I truly believe it was a fortunate life to be able to now use all of the stuff and all of the people and all of the experiences, the life experiences, being around, to now be able to use it and use it in a positive way. Especially being so proud of seeing what my son Aaron is doing. I'm only, as a proud dad, want to contribute and want to help build on that legacy. So, folks, I could only promise you, I'm here to give you the good, and the truth, and I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. And I hope you know that. And that's why a lot of people might not like it. A lot of people might be pissed at it. A lot of people are, accusing me of different things, trying to attack me, insult me. I just want to say to you, I'm not here to insult or attack anybody. I'm just going to tell you the truth and the facts. Those people that want to insult me, attack me, they need to do it in my face. If they don't have I got very thick skin. I grew up in a world where, you could say whatever you want. If you have the balls to come in my face and say it, then, we'll see it's a different story. I grew up in a different world, and none of of these people are going to say it in my face. So I don't want. The other thing I want to ask all of you, and I really truly mean it, because this is not a war. I don't want to turn this into a division, us against them, because a lot of Michael Cohen subscribers, a lot of Michael Cohen people are our friends, our relatives, our people that were just literally a month ago part of our community. A lot of them were our subscribers, paid subscribers that are now starting to choose sides. And the reason why that's happening, and that's why I'm going to have Dr. Hassan on, the cult who wrote The Cult of Trump, is because what's transpired in Michael Cohen's world, and just like a lot of influential, powerful people's world, you start building a cult environment. So a lot of people in his environment right now, because they've been with him for 6 years, they've been watching him and they've been listening to him almost every day, and they've gotten to a point where you can't prove him wrong. And I've already realized that. So I don't want us to do more division. So it's not going. I want to tell you right ahead, it's not going to help to go in the chats and his and attack his people. It's one thing when you talk to him, asking him questions all day long, but do not attack his people. Do not, because one day they're going to realize that one day they're going to come out just like Trump's people, just like MAGA, just like we're going to have to deprogram MAGA. So I just want to, I truly feel bad for a lot of his subscribers, and because I know what it's like being in a cult. I know what it's like. They don't realize even what they're doing. Trust me. And I'm not saying it to insult them. Some of them were going to think that I'm insulting them, and I'm not trying to insult them. I hope they one day realize that I truly understand what they're going through, just like a lot of mega people are going through. They listen to Michael Cohen on a daily basis. They read his emails on a daily basis. They watched him get paraded by television, CNN, MSNBC. They watched every pundit like Midas Touch, and everything else. And, they basically are now, a lot of them are programmed. They can't believe that, all of a sudden, something, he could be there. So I want to make it clear. I don't want to turn this into a fight. Just don't, if you are frustrated by him, don't want to listen to, the best way is just don't even go listen. Don't give him the numbers, don't give him the algorithm, and just shut him out, because I promise you, we're not going to stop as far as getting him to testify in front of Congress. We're not going to stop in front of getting accountability. But we don't need to try to go destroy other people. Let's kill them with kindness and normalcy and truth and facts. If some of them come out want truth and facts, give it to them. But don't go in there and call them names, insult them, because that's exactly what Cohen wants, to be able to use it. That's what Trump used. I saw it. I've been part of that machine. That's what they used to feed the machine. So that's my message to everybody. This is because we're here not to, and that's what Michael Cohen needs to understand also, is we're not here to discover who Michael Cohen is or who Michael Wolf is. Because me, folks, I don't really care. My agenda is to to get Donald Trump out of office, to get Stephen Miller out of office, to get Russell Vought out of office, to get the people, Noam, Christy Noam out of office, to get Pam Bondi out of office, to get our country back. And people like Michael Wolf and Michael Cohen and others could be heroes. They could help out. For whatever reason, they're choosing not to. They're doing it up. And that's why we're going to keep the pressure on. And that's why, I want to start off with, I want to just give you what we're going to talk about. And then I'm going to start off with a letter I wrote. So we're also going to talk about the weekend preview. A preview of the week ahead of us, I'm going to give you some insight on what's going on with Tulsi Gabbard in Russia. So slam those hearts, folks, because a lot of important information we're going to talk about today. We really want to get, it's a Sunday. It's hopefully everybody's already getting ready to go to bed soon, getting ready for the week. Some of you in the West Coast still might be just grabbing dinner or coming home. Either way, we have a lot of important stuff, so just relax, and we'll do some Q&A also. We'll do a lot, try to get a good information today, because there's a lot of important stuff happening, and we're on the precipice right now, folks, because right now it's an important part, because as bad as some stuff are, they're just just as good because we have a lot of great stuff happening. And last week was just a beginning. We began our action. I spent 3 days out of the week in Washington D.C. My plans are to spend more time in Washington D.C. And we're going to go over all the great accomplishments we've done in D.C. But we're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard. We're going to talk about Russia, election reform. We're definitely going to talk about Epstein Files and Zorro Ranch. Ellie Leonard did a great piece today she put out there. Her and Zev have been talking about Zorro Ranch. I've spoken to Congress people when I was out there. They had no idea about Zorro Ranch. I also told them about Zorro Ranch, so now they are also informed. So we're going to talk about Zorro Ranch, and very importantly, we're also going to talk about the private prisons that are being right now built and funded for ICE, and they're what's it called? Really owned by a lot of. Close Trump donors, and we're going to go a little bit about into that. So that's the stuff that we're going to talk about when we get into. And before I go into the shout outs and everything else, and the order we're going to go out into, I want to start off by this, folks. I want you to sit back for a second. I usually don't do this. I usually, hold on. I usually don't read my letters that I write but sometimes I do because the letters are very important, and sometimes not all of you get a chance. You get bogged down with so many emails, and you subscribe to a lot of people, and the way Substack works, sometimes you miss the emails. So and I understand it because we have 85,000 subscribers, and we're only only like 30,000 or 20,000 people see the email. So I don't know if it's the algorithm. I don't know why that works, but I'm trying to get the information out. So that's the number one thing, guys. Help me get this information out because it's extremely important. So first off, oh, excuse me. So I'm going to start off. For those of you that read my letter, folks, God bless you. It's important. I'm going to read it again. Just sit back, relax. For those of you that have not read my letter, I'm going to start off with what's it called? It's important for you guys. I'm going to read it to you, and if you have time, sit back at home. I would recommend you read it again because I think the message in there today really hit me because I was not planning to write this letter in no way. When I went to sleep last night, I was planning on waking up today and concentrating strictly on Ukraine and strictly on, relaxing a little bit, getting ready for the week. But I woke up and I woke up early. Something was bothering me, and I, couldn't really understand. Then I went in to my emails and I saw some of my emails, some of the things that were going on, some of the incredible work that the volunteers and some of you subscribers were doing. And I understood that, there's something big was happening. I started feeling in my bones that that this was not just a regular shift. And then all of a sudden, Michael Cohen went live, and Michael Cohen started talking again about, wolf packs and talking about, distractions and all of this. And it really hit me, and I really took a seat back, and I spent the day really reflecting, and I really spent the day, really thinking about how important what transpired. And a lot of people are really not realizing, they're looking at it as it's a fight between Michael Cohen, or it's a fight between Michael Wolf, or it's a fight for subscribers, or it's a fight because who wants to be the truth, or it's a fight who's I mean, people are real, but they're not realizing the real point where I think is the most important thing that's happening out of this. And this, I think it's important. I'm going to read it to you guys. So I want you to sit back for a second and enjoy a little bit story time with Lev. So I wrote the letter and I call it, They Tried to Silence Us. Instead, they created the Wolfpack, folks. And I want you to think about that because what happened when the Epstein files came out, there was a group of independent journalists that tried to go out there and try to get to the truth. And a lot of people tried to silence them. and I don't even put myself in that group. I just consider myself a loud voice, somebody that stands for democracy and is ready to kick some ass where it's needed to. But it was interesting to see the transformation. So I'm going to continue right, and I say in the subtitle how citizens, and I want you to think about how citizens reading the Epstein files sparked a movement they can't divide, intimidate, or stop. And stop and think for a second. What really transpired with this Epstein movement, what happened with the dump of the Epstein files, what transpired is something that's never been done in the history of the United States, in the history of the world, where the whole world came together, people from all walks of life, all religions, all nationalities, different languages, came together, united, and went through these Epstein files. Thank you, American citizen, called crowdsourcing for the truth. This was the first time in history that true crowdsourcing for the truth transpired, and it started going back. And it made me think, and it made me think, and I said, this isn't amazing. This is more than just, this is not Michael calling us a wolf pack. This is not people attacking us. I look at it and I tell you, and I speak to my sister. For those of you that know my sister, she taught me to watch signs, positive energy, and that's why I recommend all of you, if you haven't followed my sister, because you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's when it's called Center of Positive Energy, and she runs it with my son Daniel Parnas. They have an incredible perspective, and I just want you to understand. It's like you have to look at signs in front of you. God gives you signs, and we sometimes miss them, and you have to go more forward to be able to understand. And I, you know what, at that moment, I start thinking to myself, what Michael Cohen is doing, what happened with the Epstein files, what all of this is taking place, this is a sign. This is a sign that I need to take a look at what really is happening. And it came to me, and that's why I wrote what I wrote, and I'm going to read it to you, folks. I'd like to share with you. And if you have a chance, I ask of you to read it again, because it really is important. I wrote it from the heart. I wrote it because I think it's important, because I think this is an important time in history, that this is where all of you, all of us are part of this history together. So here I go. Let me take a sip of tea. I don't know. I'm a little dry mouth. Okay, here we go, folks. Sometimes life moves in a way none of us can predict. Sometimes a door cracks open somewhere. A document becomes public. A name appears in black and white. And suddenly, millions of people who never met each other are connected by one simple decision. We are going to look, and we are going to not look away. Out of moments like that, history changes. Out of moments like that, movements are born. And today, folks, whether they like it or not, is and was one of those days, especially for me. Because I want to tell you, when the Epstein files began to surface, something extraordinary happened. Not in the halls of power, not in the newsrooms owned by billionaires and big corporations. It happened here with each and every one of you, the people. It happened with the mothers, the fathers, the veterans, the students, workers coming home from long shifts, survivors who carry the pain for decades, independent journalists running around with their laptops and their courage because the Trump administration is trying to shut them down. Citizens across oceans, time zones, all over the world, united. They united and they opened the files. And you guys read them. You cross checked them. You connected the dots. You did what powerful people prayed and hoped that nobody would ever do. And I want you to think about that for 1 second. The biggest thing The biggest mistake that Donald Trump and the administration did is they underestimated the power of the people. They underestimated crowdsourcing. They underestimated what this is going to take place because they thought they were going to bog down Congress. And I could tell you because I sat there in Congress for 3 days. I sat with so many Congress people, and each and every one of them thanked you. And I'm telling you, they said, thank you, Levin. Thank your community for the crowdsourcing and for what they're doing to be able to help us because we truly are overwhelmed. And they did that on purpose. And then just think about four computers, 2 hours each. They got to make time. They're getting spied on. All of this going on to be able to get information. And that is why I want to say to you, thanks to each and every one of you, the people, is why we're making a difference. So I go on and I continue writing. You did what the powerful hoped no one would do. And in that moment, they made their final miscalculation because they believed the public would be too tired. They believed you would be too distracted, too divided. They never imagined a world where millions of eyes could investigate together. But that world is here. And when the names started surfacing, famous names, political names, untouchable names, the panic set in. And I want to share with you a list of 100 names, and some of these people are not directly connected. Some of them are there in different ways that still need to be investigated. But I just want to show you 100 names of some of the most powerful people that have been come out, and then we're going to continue reading my letter. Let me just take these off. Let me just make it a little louder. Okay, folks. Fo- Folks, that's just part one. We're assembling, and that's just 100 of some of the most powerful. powerful names that are already there, but there's a lot more. Elon was on there. Elon was on there. You might have missed him. I apologize. Not everybody's on there, so there's a lot. There's more names coming. This is just give you an example. As I wrote in my letter, when these names, when these famous names, and when these political names, when these untouchable names, where this panic starts setting in, and you saw it. You saw the deflections. You saw the sudden memory lapses from all these people, like Lutnick. All of a sudden, one day he's screaming, "I would never be caught." I saw next to him the next day he's talking about how he and his daughters and his nannies were at the island, and he emphasized, "I made sure that I left there with my kids." Who says that? Who does that? But the the sudden memory lapses, the attacks on messengers, the people like all of a sudden Michael Cohen starting to attack everybody. Think about the insults, the name calling, the discussing over what? Because people ask questions. Remember one thing. The one thing I'm going to tell you is nobody that I know has accused Michael Cohen of any particular thing. Not Ellie Leonard, not Tara Palmieri, not that I heard of. If unless they did it, if somebody could show me something else, but not Zev Shalev, nobody. Everybody that I know that Michael Cohen is attacking, including myself, the only thing we all have agreed upon and have accused Michael Cohen of is not being honest and that not telling us the whole truth. Not that he threatened Katie Johnson or he didn't threaten Katie Johnson. Not if he was in Prague or he wasn't in Prague. There was no particular accusation against Michael Cohen. The biggest thing was a question: is Michael Cohen? You were in the files. You said you have information about Trump and Epstein to get Rule 35. When that question was asked, all hell broke loose. And what did they do? Just like Donald Trump, they start attacking the messenger. So I just want you to understand I'm not here to call him names. I've never called him one name, I don't think, except for the very first time when he went with my son. If you remember, the only time I ever lost my cool on this platform was right after Christmas. If you remember when Michael Cohen went and took this is how this whole thing started, took and went and manipulated and got my son on his show to talk about the Epstein Files while we were in the process of arguing about the Epstein Files. And that's when I came out. I was very aggressive. I was loud. I was screaming, emotional. I apologized to everyone for that. That was because there was a father really worried about his son, protecting me, and my own son didn't speak at that time. If you remember, it was a whole thing because of what Michael Cohen was trying to do to protect himself. But thank God, God is good. We have moved on. Me and my son have a even a better relationship than we had thanks to that with Michael Cohen. And as far as the Midas touch, as you could see, we continue working together, and everybody else. The only one out of the picture is Michael Cohen because that was the common denominator. Everybody decided, so everybody can't be wrong and him being right. So that's all I wanted to make it clear when it comes to that. So when he attacks the messengers, let's continue. The attacks by Michael Cohen and others to fracture us, label us, scare us, ridicule us, exhaust us. Some who once spoke about justice started protecting themselves. Some who claimed to defend democracy suddenly wanted to move on. And then came the part that nobody wanted to believe. And here we are. One of the harshest voices attacking journalists and citizens simply for asking questions turned out to be somebody many of you and us trusted. For years, Michael Cohen built an audience by condemning Donald Trump. 6 years of warning, 6 years of outrage, 6 years of telling the world how he understood the danger. But the moment real scrutiny intensified, the moment the spotlight widened, the moment questions got uncomfortable, he didn't lock arms with the people demanding the truth. He didn't join Ellie and Zev and everybody and Tara and me and said, let me help you. Let me tell you what I know, what's going on. Instead, he turned on them because instead of helping, he began dividing. He began dividing right away the communities, arguing. Instead of supporting accountability, he began threatening with lawsuits. Folks, yes, he's been threatening that he's going to sue us. Every day he smears us, calls us names, intimidates us. He sent Ellie a DM message in her DM. He doesn't know Ellie. He sends her a message in the DM saying, "You need to apologize to me." Think about that. And then what he did, he came out and he labeled us the Wolfpack. Yep. For the past few days, he kept calling us and saying us the Wolfpack, this Wolfpack, the Wolfpack, the Wolfpack. Basically saying that we, as citizens, seeking answers, are the problem. It made me think, because while he's calling us the Wolfpack, while he's accusing us of what he's doing, all the while, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, he was reaching back toward the very orbit he once claimed to have escaped. And folks, I'm going to show you something because I don't want you to take my word for it, because a lot of people say, Lev, you're saying Michael's not here to defend himself. Don't take my word for it. I'm going to play a video for you in his own words. I want you to see who he defends. I want you to see who he attacks. I want you to judge for yourself who's standing up for the public and who's trying to find their way back to favor. I put this video out. Some of you might have seen it already, and if you've seen it, I apologize. But it's okay. You should watch it again, because the more you watch it, the more you understand, the more you see, because there's so many moving parts to what is going to play out later on, to what Michael did, that I need to go on. And we are going to move on. Believe me, we have a lot to talk about. So, Gretchen, please, if you don't want, just be patient with us, because this is important. This is, again, not about Michael Cohen, folks. This is about something more important than Michael Cohen. This is about a movement that is being created because of the things that Michael Cohen did. But a lot of people, and I want to make it clear, some of you might be tired of hearing Michael Cohen's name. Some of might have you even heard this. Some of you might have read the letters. But I need you to be considerate and understanding that a lot of people might have not. We have a big community. We have over 80,000 people, and other people on Substack that are coming new, are becoming new subscribers that are just watching this, and they don't know what you know. So be kind and be respectful. If you heard this information, or if it does, or if you feel that I'm repeating something that is really not, just take the day off, go watch some TV. I won't take it personally, I promise you. But I promise you, if you be patient, we're going to go into a lot of other news. There's a reason why I'm telling you, and the reason why, because there's a lot of other people here, and I'm trying to be fair to the whole community and not just everywhere. So be kind to everywhere, because at the end of the day, we're trying to get the information out. And that's why I want to continue saying, because that betrayal, that moment, that attempt to fracture the truth-seeking this community, that's when the Wolfpack truly became real, to me at least. That's when I really realized that what he was trying to really create was really create a movement. Because by trying to scare us into silence, by trying to instead, more people stood up. And as they scrambled, they gave us a name, the Wolfpack. They meant it to insult us, but what they actually did is they built a banner. Because here's what they still don't understand. The Wolfpack is not a personality. It's not a podcast, and it's not a brand. The Wolfpack is the people. It's you and me. It's every single one of us. It's every human being who has had enough of being lied to. It's every person tired of watching the powerful rewrite reality while the survivors wait. It's every citizen who understands that accountability is the oxygen of our democracy. The Wolfpack stands for truth, for dignity, for integrity. The Wolfpack stands for the survivors, folks. Not with the socially connected, not with the politically protected, not with the wealthy, insulted class, but with the survivors, folks. And that's what they fear. That's what they fear most. Because you cannot pressure millions of people into silence. You cannot smear an army made of ordinary citizens. You cannot cancel a movement whose only demand is honesty, folks. That's all we care about. can't cancel us because we care about honesty. So I want to say to you extremely that I am proud. I am deeply proud to stand with the Wolfpack. And I want you to know what it means to confront power because I know the cost of speaking when others stay quiet. I know what it happens when you refuse to play along. I know Michael Cohen says a lot, but he forgets that I went to prison just like he did for Donald Trump. I know what it's like to speak truth to power. I stood in front of Congress and testified under oath. The difference between me and Michael Cohen is when he testified in front of Congress, he lied, and he went to prison for that. I did not lie in front of Congress. When I spoke in front of Congress after I testified, Joe Biden's case was closed. The Republicans and MAGA and the DOJ had nothing else to say because I came in there and came in there instead of Hunter Biden at the time. Michael Cohen goes out there and smears and says that I am the person that hurt Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. But he knows very well that today, me and Hunter Biden and the Biden family are actually very close. He knows very well that is not the truth, but uses it to promote anger and reflection. So, what I want to say to you is for somebody that knows what it's like to stand true to power, for somebody that knows what it takes, how hard it is to sometimes look your friends in the eyes and not agree with them because the truth is hard sometimes for people to understand. But I want you to understand the truth that they hate most is that this time I'm not alone. This time I got you. I got each and every one of you here with me. Simple people, teachers, mechanics, nurses, immigrants, veterans, parents, students. I got people who never asked to be activists, never were political. But because the moment they realized silence was not complicity anymore, that is what forced their misjudgment. They thought if they pressured a few voices, the story would die. I'll never forget how Michael Cohen said, Zev Shalev, he only has 17,000 subscribers. They thought the story would die. Instead, millions more stood up. That, folks, is how families are formed. That is how history shifts. That is how the Wolfpack was born, folks, today. By movements survive on action and not in moments. So I wanted to read that letter to you that I put out today, and I think it's very important because today, officially, the Wolfpack movement has begun. I encourage you all to go to levremembers.com, get your gear. We're going to have more coming up, more events with the Wolfpack, but I just want you, just like when Trump attacks Antifa, because Antifa is all of us. Just like the Wolfpack is all of us, because it's each and every one of us that just all we care about is truth, transparency, and getting to the bottom. So that is where I want to do, and we're going to end off on Michael Cohen on that note, and we're going to move on to other breaking news. So with that said, folks, if you do encounter some of the people that you might have even been friends with because we were subscribers to the same people, you followed each other, you've been along in these chats a long time. My advice, just like I tell my advice to people in Trump cult that when I left, is you don't confront them and because they're blinded right now. They don't see the facts. They don't see the same facts that you are showing them. They don't see exactly what you are or what they see it in a different light. They see it in a different world. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to make sure. So let's move on now. Oh, I forgot before we move on. I apologize. That's right. Some of you are saying to me, the video. That's right. A lot of you did not see the video. I apologize. Let me play the video, and after the video, we'll move on. And I think the video is very important. And I apologize. You're right. Thank you, everybody, for reminding me about the video. Give me a second. And I am not a technology guy. I asked some people to help me put the video together because it was important. I think because what was going on is Michael Cohen was the way he was using certain wording and certain what's it called. He was manipulating a lot of the people here on Substack, using a lot of names. So I asked for help to put together a video of basically showing Michael Cohen in his own words, because when he goes there threatening to sue people because we're talking about him, we're saying, well, he's gonna have to sue himself, because this is Michael Cohen in his own words from 2019, 2020, 2023, and then compared to 2026 a few weeks ago. As I told you, while he was calling us liars, while he was attacking all of us, he was in the meantime preparing his plan to be able to help Donald Trump. And the video is 4 minutes and it's clips of stuff. But I want to encourage everybody, if you have time, to go watch. And I'm only doing it not because I want you guys to watch a right wing podcast, but it's important for those of you that even have a slither of a doubt of where Michael Cohen stands, to go watch the full. It's a 2 hour video, folks. It's a 2 hour interview, and all 2 hours is more of what you're going to see in the 4 minutes. But these 4 minutes, I try to put together to give you an understanding of what is happening and who Michael Cohen really is. So while you're doing it, also, folks, if you guys can put the petition in the what's it called chat, Lev's Army. Put the petition and put the GoFundMe, because the two important things we need is we need to keep more signatures, and in the next week or two we're going to be going on the road again. We need to continue all your support, the paid subscriptions, contributions, get GoFundMe, whatever you can, because we're only getting started, and trust me when I tell you, it's getting real. So let me play the video, and then we're going to go out to some more breaking news that we have. Okay, 1 second, hold on.
The words the media should be using to describe Mr. Trump are generous, kind, honest, and genuine. Because I know what Mr. Trump is. He's racist. He's a con man. He's a cheat. Says the guy who's lied to the American public over 35 times. It's not an issue. Oh, Donald is racist. Donald doesn't believe in diversity. It's not true. It's not true. Mr. Trump is racist. The country has seen Mr. Trump white supremacist things. We see Donald do things like this all the time. Farts, for example, to Alvin Bragg, Lonnie Willis, or to someone who's black. And I mean, it's just the way that man behaves. It needs to be made. But we never open it's the entire left-wing ecosystem maniacs that are trying to cancel. Michael, Opportunity Channel, I can promise you that Mr. Bragg is on the fight team. Personally, thank for mentioning me, for crediting me for the starting of this. And I have never asked for, nor would I accept, a pardon from President Trump. Michael wants a pardon. I would take a pardon. I regret the day I said yes to Mr. Trump. I regret all the help and support I gave him along the way. This is whatever method that he has available to him in order to try to denigrate you and to harm you. So in fact, I love the guy. So he was loved or love? Love. I still love present. I'm still. Finally, Donald Trump will be held accountable, and the adage, no one is above the law, will ring true. I would have taken a bullet for it. Someone pulled out a gun, I would have jumped in front of my relationship with kids, especially Don, and then Ivanka and Eric as well. I mean, I saved Don in countless scenarios. Ivanka, incredibly close with her as well. Holy shit. Did you guys just hear what happened here in New York? Tish James, our incredible New York Attorney General, has just decided that they are going to sue, that they're going to put out a lawsuit against Donald Trump, Don Jr., Ivanka, Eric, the Trump Organization. My apartment, I cooked my famous world-class lasagna for. And we were fighting on the floor like siblings for the last piece, even though I'm the one who made it, because she wants me to wrap it for her for work the next day. That's how much and how significant a relationship that we had, all of us. They will all be held accountable for their dirty deeds. Rest assured, I am going to continue to push forward. I am going to continue to assist and provide the information that's requested of me. I have lied. I am not a liar.
Who today do you trust, and who today trusts Michael Cohen?
I don't know. So you think I should actually make a call to the White House and ask to be seen?
What's your outcome?
I could either get a yes, which would make me happy.
So you saw the way he ended it off. He ended off. So should I make a call to the White? Yes. That will make me happy. Hold on. So sorry. So we have some more news actually. Ellie Leonard is working on some very important, some breaking stuff. Four big lies that she about Michael Cohen that she's also going to be reporting. They're very important to see them side by side. She's putting them together now, and she's going to be putting them out later. So enough with Michael Cohen, but the only thing I do want to say is thank you to Michael Cohen and all of these people that started the Wolfpack movement, because we are only getting started, and it's about to get real. And that's right, the truth has teeth, and as I could promise you, they're not ready for what's coming. But let's talk about what else is important and what is happening. First of all, major shout out to our volunteer group. I can't mention some of the names, but I just want to say that the incredible work out there. I didn't even realize it, but a lot of the folks that watched Michael Cohen's video, the full video, which you didn't see clips here, there was a very important part. We couldn't put the full thing here. It's a 2-hour thing. But I want you to know, you guys did some incredible work. Your voices were heard, and they are powerful. So let me tell you what happened. So after Michael Cohen did that interview, we posted the interview, and that interview, it starts off with Michael Cohen saying that he just finished doing a speech in Yale University, and he was talking in Yale University to 100 or 120 Yale, what's it called, Yale. Not Yale, but all presidents from all universities, talking about how Donald Trump is going after them right now, and how he wants them to settle, and he wants them to, he's trying to, with Harvard and all, that he wants them to settle. Well, I am so proud of each and every one of you. I can't even tell you, because some of you got, and I'm not going to mention names because to stay anonymous, but I want to do mention this. Michael Cohen's response today was was that these were bots and fake accounts that were sending in these emails. I want to confirm that they could not be bots and fake accounts because we got responses, which I'm going to read to you from presidents of these universities. And this is extremely important because of what's happening, because part of what Michael Cohen was doing there, again, to help Donald Trump, he was telling about, he was basically telling these universities that they need to, as somebody that knows Donald Trump very well, that they need to settle. They need to settle with Trump, and they need to settle quickly. Basically, putting our kids' lives, college and their education in jeopardy by bending a knee to Donald Trump because of what he said. So a lot of you that have kids that go to these universities, a lot of you that are parents got pissed off, and you guys sent out letters. And let me tell you, I want to read some replies and what happened. So the letter, we got a letter back from Wendy Hassel. Wendy Hassel is the president of the University of, I think it's Hawaii, folks. And she responds to one of the letters, one of the people that wrote the letter to her, one of our subscribers, and says, "Thank you for your email. I attended the convening at Yale University with the university presidents from around the country by invitation. Mr. Cohen's participation was a complete surprise to me and was not on any agenda." Let me repeat. She says, Mr. Cohen's participation was a complete surprise to me and was not on any agenda. His brief comments reflected strictly his own opinion, which sharply contrasted with others presented the same day. Sincerely yours, Wendy Hassel. So the president, what's it called, of the University of Hawaii, responded to this. This actually was on February 14th. This is how incredible. To democracy never sleeps. That you guys were doing this on Valentine's Day and during Valentine's weekend, and as we've been working on this all the time, you sent emails to every single person that was president of every university. So the chain of event, what happens? This president of this university sent an email to Yale because what's it called? Because what's his name? The president, the guy at Yale that brought Michael Cohen on was not the president of Yale, but he had a position on there. So this president, Wendy Hansel, wrote and said, "Why would you put us in this position by bringing Michael Cohen there?" So, folks, at the same time, our subscribers called up, continued to, excuse me, to send letters to Yale and to everybody that was there, and then we got a response from Yale, folks. So let me tell you. So obviously these are not bots. These are not fake accounts. These are obviously real people that obviously the Yale and all of these presidents responded to, because some of these people are actually probably donors to these colleges. Some of these are parents and have students go to these colleges. That's why crowdsourcing is so incredible. That's why guys like Michael Cohen and all of these people could never imagine that, that the power, just think about the power that we have of our voices and what we're able to do. Because, so let me read you the letter now. This is a response to one of the subscribers that wrote a letter and saying it's reaching out to the Yale School of Management through your messages. Now, Yale has already been bombarded by other presidents that were there saying that, why did you put me in there? So let me read you the letter. And this is 1 second. Okay. The letter is from Stephen. Stephen is Stephen Tian, Tian. And here he goes. Okay. Dear Mrs. So and so, I am Stephen Tian, and I work with Professor Jeffrey Sonnenfeld of the Yale School of Management. Now, for those of you that don't know, Professor Jeffrey Sonnenfeld was the professor that is very close with Michael Cohen, that invited Michael Cohen there to do the speech. So this gentleman, Stephen Tian, works with Professor Jeffrey Sonnenfeld at the Yale School of Management. All right? So he's responding now to us. He's saying, given this is a holiday weekend and Professor Sonnenfeld is traveling, I am responding on his behalf. We are currently in receipt of the messages you sent to several of our colleagues. Though I wish you would have come to us directly with your concerns, had you done so, we would have told you that in fact, we completely agree with many of your points, and we applaud your strong voice warning university leaders not to appease demagoguery. So, first paragraph there, he's telling us, and I'm glad to hear he agrees with us that we should not bend the knee. That he agrees with our points, he agrees with our movement, he agrees with our what our voices are saying, and he continues. In fact, we have already been publicly and forcefully countering in the pages of Fortune, Time Magazine, Washington Post, and the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal, Newsweek, and other prominent national publications the wrong advice Michael Cohen gave for university presidents to acquaintances to Trump. Let me stop right there. This is very important. I want you to, if you can, read this with yourself. I'm going to try to put it out here. Hold on a second. Okay, folks, hold on a second. Hold on. Oh, where's okay? Just want to make sure we're not uh, doxing anybody. Okay. I don't know if you could see it here, folks, but right there, like right on top, take a take. I'm going to try to pull it back. Take a look right over here, and I'm going to read it to you again. I'm going to read it to you again because this is an important part, very important part. Where is it? Very important. In fact, we have already been publicly and forcefully countering in the pages of Fortune, Time, Washington Post, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Newsweek, and other prominent national publications the wrong advice Michael Cohen gave for university presidents to acquaintances to Trump. And we have repeatedly made the same point that you have, that we have. So they agree with us. They have made the same exact point that we have about the importance of university presidents standing up to Donald Trump's attacks on higher education, including in Washington Post just this week and in the pages of Fortune over the last year. It requires collective action to counter a bully, which is exactly what we have been helping catalyze. We help spark collective action with 700 university presidents rallying to defense of Harvard and standing strong against attacks on Harvard. As you can see, and as some from our publications, we have been saying that the university leaders need to resist Trump's intrusions on academy affairs together and not appease Trump. Extremely important. I'm putting it in here, and they put in all of their articles that the presidents that Yale has said, testifying, saying that they totally agree with us. They totally disagree with Michael Cohen, and they totally disagree with Michael Cohen's advice to bend the knee to Donald Trump. The opposite, in effect, they totally are saying that they agree, and this is I'm reading it to you from Yale themselves. So for those of you that if you ever are Michael Cohen's thing, just tell him you saw the letter from Yale. You could send his people there. I'm going to post this copy of it for everybody to see later on today. It continues. As you can see in the attached publications, we have shared the same approach across other sectors, such as saluting business leaders and standing up to ICE in Minnesota, and enlisting business community to speak out against false allocation fraud claims in 2020, and in support of voting rights, and saluting the business community for pulling out of Trump's advisory councils after Charlottesville in 2017, as well as helping storm the historic exodus of more than 1,200 businesses from Russia following the invasion of Ukraine. Appeasement or acquaintances has never been our recommendation. We have regularly reminded leaders of Benjamin Franklin's admonition that unless we hang together, surely we will hang separately, as well as his long echoed phrase that all that is necessary for triumph over evil is for good people to do nothing. Few academic voices in the nation have spoken out more strongly on the need to stand up to bullies effectively through collective action. We always host a variety of different opinions at our forums, and we don't agree with many of the opinions that are shared. But that does not mean we censor them or that we endorse every perspective. We certainly do not agree with or endorse anyone's recommendation to the university's presidents, to acquaintances, to the instructions on the academic freedom, nor did we hear anyone in the room, very important, or nor did we hear anyone in the room agree with the single solitary voice holding that perspective that Michael Cohen had. There was significant, on the contrary, there was significant pushback in the room when that was said. And we have pushed back aggressively and publicly as conveyed above. Hopefully, this provides some helpful clarity to you, and thank you again for sharing your concerns with us. Though we wish again you'd come to us directly, we'd be eager to engage with you directly moving forward if you are willing to share your perspective with us, which is very valuable. Since we apparently agree on your main message, please let us know if there's anything we can do to help. I have also copied Professor Sonfeld, so you have both of our direct emails as well as of our colleague Stefan Henriquez. Thank you and have warm regards, Stephen. That was extremely important letter from Yale. Because let me tell you what Michael Cohen has also done. Because he has opened also a can of worms that we need to put the light on about all of these universities. Actually, Trump is making them take a knee, and they trying to extort them and for them to have pay money. So what we're going to do is we are reaching out to these president of Harvard, Yale, and all of these universities to come on our show here, to come on our community, to Lev Remembers, and talk to us and have an understanding of exactly what's going on instead of bringing on people like Michael Cohen to be able to push. The important facts I want you to take from the letter is that Yale has no longer, does not agree with Cohen. They received plenty of pushback. The professor that did this is not, he's even not even responding. There's a lot of blowback. So I want to just give props up to the community. You guys did an incredible job, and you did an incredible work to show that our voices are strong, powerful, and we're not going to stand for anybody that tries to protect or differ from the Epstein Files or anything else. Last but not least, folks, some important stuff as we spoke about that we're going to get into. So let me get some of my notes here because one of my good friends and a really good reporter, Roger Sollenberger, has broke some very big news, folks. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Okay. So, so basically, a few days ago or the day before yesterday, the DOJ and Pam Bondi released a list of names and released, a whole bunch of stuff. And we're going to get into your questions in a little bit, because we got Lev's army. He's taking down the questions. But Roger Sollenberger, who used to work for the Daily Beast, he interviewed me plenty of times, says, broke a story, and he's found stuff in the Epstein files. My son Aaron spoke about earlier. We're going to break it down to you because this is extremely important, and it also connects to a lot of things that's happening now. The DOJ files revealed that the FBI logged credible Trump allegations in the Epstein case, folks. That's extremely important. I want you to understand what that means, and we're going to break it out. I'm going to give you the 5 biggest outtakes, and I'm going to break it all down to you how it goes because this is very important. So let's go over the first outtake. The FBI documented, I want you to understand that a direct sexual assault allegation against Donald Trump from a person they treated as a victim. What Sollenberger found in the Epstein files is an internal DOJ FBI slide that says Epstein introduced a female victim that filed a report, a 13 to 15-year-old, to Trump, who then Trump exposed himself, forced oral contact. She bit him, and he allegedly punched her and threw her out. And the victim would have been 13 to 15 years old. Number 2. Federal records now show that the agent spoke to this victim. This wasn't just a random hotline rumor, because remember, Pam Bondi and everybody, Donald Trump and all of them keep saying that there is no substantial evidence. There is no corroborated evidence. There is no type of evidence to link Donald Trump to some sort of crime. Well, folks, here is the evidence. Here is what we're going to be talking about. This is extremely, extremely important, and we're going to be talking about more and more in the next couple of days and this week to come, because this is some really, really breaking story, because this has to do with a 13 to 15-year-old. This is a minor that came out, that filed a complaint, that said that Epstein introduced her to Trump, that Trump exposed himself. He forced her to have oral contact. She bit him, and he allegedly punched her and threw her out. The victim would have been 13 to 15 years old. Now, what we've been told about this and what we've seen up to today was that this was just a tip, and we did not know what happened with it. And that's why they kept saying that this was just a tip. And obviously, we assume that the FBI is not moving on. Well, this is extremely important right now, because this is what Sollenberger has found in the Epstein files. And again, this links to the letter, because Sollenberger is just another member of the Wolfpack, because the Wolfpack is all of us that are digging through these letters, that are making our voices heard, that are bringing accountability, justability, and integrity to all of this. So, number 2, the federal records now show that the agent spoke to her. This wasn't just a random hotline. Internal material that Sollenberger found attributes the allegation to the victim herself, not to a third party. That means there's a 302, folks. A 302, just so you understand, is a document the FBI take when they interview somebody. It has to be recorded. That's a series. That's not a tip or a hotline. That's already becomes credible information that they need to follow up on. That means that that there's a certain credibility to that information for the FBI to sit down and take a 302. I'm going to continue. Number 3, her biography matches a woman. This is very important. The biography in the girl in that case matches a woman who later sued Epstein estate and received a settlement in 2021. Now, let me repeat this because it's extremely important. If this happens to be the same victim, the same girl, the same individual that sued Donald Trump, that accused Donald Trump of this horrific crime, that was then followed up by FBI agents, and it happens to be the same one, this survivor would have received a settlement, financial settlement from the Epstein estate in 2021. Now, why do you say that's important? because that would give it even more validation that this is not just a hotline act tip or an accusation, because you don't just settle, especially after the death of Epstein. So for his estate to settle with this individual, with this survivor in 2021, and these are some of the characteristics that are matched, and I'm going to go over them with you. The woman that received the settlement and the girl in the complaint is the same age range. They both came from South Carolina background. They both later lived near the Seattle field office that handled the interview. A lot of people might say that's coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidence, especially when you're talking about somebody living in South Carolina, then moving to Seattle, being handled by the Seattle FBI field office, same age. A lot of coincidences here, folks. Now we're going to go to number 4. A second Trump related claim in the same DOJ material comes from a witness prosecutors relied on. And here's the punchline: to convict Ghislaine Maxwell. So think about it. That literally makes it someone the government already considered credible enough to help win the federal trial. So basically, you're saying that they spoke to a second Trump-related witness, somebody else that came out and claimed that Donald Trump did something illegal. That same witness was used by the DOJ in convicting Ghislaine Maxwell. So she was credible enough to use in the conviction of Maxwell in her federal trial, but for some reason, she's not credible enough about her complaints about Donald Trump's accusation of Donald Trump. Number 5, despite public statements that Trump has not been credibly accused by Pam Bondi and the DOJ, DOJ now records show federal investigators cataloged, tracked, and presented these accusations internally. That's very important, folks, because I need you to understand something. This is no longer a tip. This is no longer somebody called up and gave a tip. Somebody did something. This is now you have 302. You have a follow up. You have other corroborating witnesses. You have a lot of things going on. So this is a lot more than just a tip. And now for Pam Bondi, that was just sitting literally, I was in there in that room when Pam Bondi was asked by Ted Lieu. I won't forget that. Ted Lieu asked her, he said, do you have anything in the files that would have any type of evidence, credible or any other, to show that Donald Trump is not was not committing some crime? And Pam Bondi responded in a very, very creative way. Very creative way. She took out some of the words of credible, and she said that there's not the evidence, and she tried to play with the legal terms. But at the end of the day, what it is basically she lied and perjured herself, because there is plenty now of evidence that this was not just a tip, that there was a formal complaint, that there was a follow-up of 302, that there was other. And I'm going to walk you through it because this is important, folks. So I want you to take back, if you want to take a pen and a paper right now and write these things down, because these are important things I'm going to tell you. Because I'm going to go over the timeline, how the FBI handled this situation. Very, very, very important. So I'm going to take a second. If you guys want to grab a pen and paper, I'm going to give you a second. All right, you guys ready? All right, here we go. So in the 1980s, this victim, this poor young girl that was ranged between 13 15 years old, came and complained and wrote a complaint and said that she was abused by Epstein. And she says that the Epstein abuse occurred when she was around 13 to 15 years old. She alleges that the assault involved Donald Trump happened during this period. Later, she describes that this happened somewhere in New Jersey. So this was a complaint that was filed in the 1980s. This is when the FBI got it. Now we fast forwarded all the way to July 19th, 2019. Very important facts, folks. I mean, I want you to really solve, because we're going to get into some serious stuff and stuff that I've been warning and talking about for a long time that is now coming to fruition. And then this is important because we're going to talk about this as the week comes around, because this is just breaking today. On July 19, 2019, there was an internal memo in the FBI where the FBI determines that she provided enough information for a follow-up. Think about that. There's an internal memo inside the FBI that the complaint, this 13 to 15-year-old victim that's alleged about Epstein and Donald Trump, that they determined that she provided enough information for a follow-up. This was July 19. July 24th, 2019. Now, this is very important because remember, 2019, Epstein gets arrested. 2019, Epstein commits suicide or disappears. 2019, I get arrested. 2019, Bill Barr is in charge of the DOJ. He is the Attorney General. 2019 is when Bill Barr was on a mission to cover things up. 2019 is when Bill Barr was in charge of things. And as we can see now, Bill Barr is also in the Epstein Files. Bill Barr was also named. Bill Barr's father gave Epstein a job when Epstein, in college as a mathematician. So Bill Barr's fat, pudgy fingers are all over the Epstein Files. And we're going to continue. So now July 24th. So now write down July 19, 2019, the FBI writes an internal memo, says that this accusation by this young 13 to 15-year-old girl that accused Donald Trump of horrendous, sexual assault, rape, and Epstein, that information was credible enough for there to be a follow-up. So now on July 24, 2019, the agents actually interview her and her lawyer, folks. That's right. Let me repeat. July 24th, the FBI actually sat down and took a 302 and interviewed this victim, this survivor, and her lawyer. The timeline continues. On August 9th, 2019, these are important. Just think about it. July 19th, July 24th, August 9th. Watch how quickly things are transpiring. August 9th, the interview report, the 302 that I just told you that they took on July 24th, is formally entered into the system. Now, here's where it gets, and I want everybody to think for a second, because this is where it gets very important. Very, very important, folks. I want you to stop. I want you to think for a second, because what I'm about to tell you, and this is not conspiracy, these are facts. Very important facts. We're going to go back right now before I give you what happened on August 10th, if some of you might already not know. Let's replay what we just said, the three things that happened before August 10th. On July 19th, there's an internal memo in the FBI determining that a complaint in the 1980s filed by a 13 to 15-year-old victim, volunteer, alleging that Donald Trump sexually assaulted her, violently hit her. And July 19th of 2019, almost 30 years later, almost 40 years later, there's an internal memo in the FBI that determines that information that young girl, almost 40 years ago, that she provided had enough information that they went and they did a follow-up. 5 days later, agents interviewed this survivor and victim with her lawyer present. 5 days later. Less than a month later, on August 9, 2019, that 302, that memo that was taken a month earlier on July 24th with her lawyer present was formally entered into the FBI system. The following day, folks, August 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein has passed away. Let me stop and repeat myself. The following day, Jeffrey Epstein died. I'm going to give you some more information. During the interview, during this 302 that was taken by this victim, this survivor, with her lawyer, during the interview, she had a photo of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump on her phone. She even asked about cropping Donald Trump out. Her attorney tells the agent she feared retaliation from well-known individuals. In 2021, a woman matching the same details, receives a settlement from the Epstein estate. In the summer of 2025, folks, the DOJ creates another internal slideshow summarizing investigations. The Trump allegations appear in the slideshow, and they are attributed to the victim. So the biggest takeaway here, folks, is that the U.S. government possessed and internally circulated a document, allegations from a person investigators treated as a victim, not gossip, as a victim, directly contradicting public claims from Pam Bondi and the DOJ and Donald Trump that no credible accusations exist. Think about that. I want to take us back, and I'm going to repeat this because this is so powerful, because for those of you that might have missed it, for those of you that are just joining, this is extremely important. I'm going to repeat the timeline once more. So there was a victim that in the 1980s filed a report, folks. She filed a report that while she was 13 to 15 years old, she alleged that she was sexually assaulted by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Almost 40 years later, 30 some odd years later, in July 19th, we know the date because these are the files that Roger Sollenberger has found. This is the breaking news. He's found these files in the Epstein Files, folks. Think about it. This, and I need you and I beg you, this needs to be spread, because think about how powerful our voices have become. Think about what we're able to do with institutions like Yale and Harvard and everything by getting their attention. Well, today, Lev's Army, today, each and every volunteer, I'm asking you, we need to spread this message far and wide, because this is the smoking gun we're all been waiting for, folks. This is the actual proof. Listen again. In the 80s, there was a victim, 13, 15 years old. And I'm sorry I keep repeating it because I can't imagine what transpired, and that we're only finding out after all of these administrations, not just Trump's, but all of these administrations. All of these people have things to answer to. All of these powerful people need to go down. All of them need to be held accountable. I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, black, brown, white, green, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, Hindus. I don't care if they come from planet Mars. If they are responsible, if they were involved, if they had knowledge, if they covered it up, if they were anywhere a part of it, they need to be held accountable. And it's time for the survivors to get justice. So my Wolfpack, each and every one of you, Wolfpack, listen to me very carefully, because I'm going to repeat it one more time, and I'm asking each and every one of you, tomorrow when you wake up, make sure that we let every congressman, every social media platform, everywhere know what is going on. Donald Trump is not only in the Epstein files. This is now concrete proof. Again, shout out to Roger Sollenberger. And also, big news, I'm going to have Roger on our show either tomorrow. I'm going to try to have him on tomorrow. He's a dear friend. I'm going to try to have him on tomorrow to give you the breaking news himself that he broke tonight. But here it is. Let's go over it one more time, because this is extremely important. In the 80s, there's a report being done. We don't know what happens. We don't know what transpired in those 30 years, because we still don't see all the dumps. All the Epstein files have not been released. But in this dump, all of a sudden, we found that 30 some odd years later, there's an internal memo done on July 19, 2019. Literally, within 5 days later, agents interview her and her lawyers. Literally, within under a month, this report, this FD 302 that we talk about that is so important, is now entered formally into the FBI system. Less than 24 hours after this report about this girl is entered into the system to be formally entered into the FBI system, within 24 hours, Jeffrey Epstein passes away. Think about that. Think about that. Within 24 hours of Bill Barr finding out that the president of the United States has evidence being logged into the FBI, an actual 302, with credible sources accusing him, not a tip, but credible sources accusing him of sexually raping, assaulting a minor that under 13 to 15 years old. And what happens the next day? Literally the next day, Epstein is dead, folks. Epstein is dead. And during this interview, and this is very important because we have now receipts, during the interview, the survivor, the interview that she did on July 24, 2019, she brought her telephone. And on her cell phone, there was a photo of Epstein and Donald Trump. And she asked the prosecutors to please crop out Donald Trump, because her attorneys told the agents that she feared retaliation from well-known individuals. And who was more well-known than Donald Trump at the time, being the president of the United States? And while she was sitting there sharing this information, thinking she's telling the people they're going to protect her, what was it? She wasn't realizing that she was actually telling this information to the person, Bill Barr, to the department being run by the people that were actually trying to cover it up. Think about that. So now we fast forwarded to 2021, and a woman matching that same description, all of a sudden receives a settlement from the Epstein estate. She receives that settlement. And then in the summer of 2025, the DOJ creates an internal slideshow summarizing all these investigations. And in that slideshow, the Donald Trump allegation appears there and is attributed to a victim, folks. It says it in the FBI notes, victim. It does not say tip. It does not say by somebody in a parking lot. It says by a victim. There was a 302 taking. There was a victim. And now the U.S. government is caught with their hands red-handed. They possessed this internally. They saw this. It was circulated as a document inside of the FBI. They saw that this was treated by a person and investigators, that she was treated as a victim, that this was not gossip. This was a victim. And I keep repeating it. It was directly contradicted all the public claims, Donald Trump, all the public claims, Pam Bondi, all the public claims this administration has been coming and saying that there is no credible accusations against Donald Trump that exist. Think about that, folks. This is very breaking news, and that's why I wrote this letter today about the Wolfpack. That's why I went live today, and that's why I made sure to make these videos about Michael Cohen, and that's why we're going to talk about Michael Wolf next right now. That's why this is so important right now for us all to stand together, not divide. Donald Trump has done enough division. Michael Cohen is trying to do more division. We need to all stand together and stop giving them this energy and we need to continue pressing and pushing and where it matters. We have to, like I said, take our energy focus, our strength on what counts. And what counts, what can we do? I said to you, sign the petition. The more names, the better. We already have a direct link into Congress, and we're working with them, crowdsourcing, giving them the information, helping continue searching, continue looking, continue watching. All of that helps tremendously. So continue doing what you're doing. So those are the things that I'm telling you what to do. The other things is, let's talk about a little bit about Michael Wolf. Because Michael Wolf, in the next few days, I'm doing some major reporting about Michael Wolf. Well, first of all, we're going to have also this week, we're going to have Dr. Hassan on. Dr. Hassan is going to talk about, he's the cult master, wrote the book about cult. He's going to talk about some of these cults inside of cults that are now established even on our side, because as you see what's happening with this fight and debate that's going on with Michael Cohen, he has now built a little cult or whatever that cult inside, because there should be no reason or fighting. There should be no controversy here. This is either black or white, truth or not truth. This is not me against you, us against them. This is about right against wrong, standing for the truth. And the fact that there are people that don't care, don't listen, don't want to hear the truth, or take the truth and twist it just to be able to appease themselves that they are on the right side. That is exactly what part of MAGA was. That's what we did. That's when we were in the cult. And that's why I say, I think people, that's why I say don't attack all of those people in Cohen's or Wolf's places, but try to either, give them the time to come out. That doesn't mean don't attack Cohen or Wolf, but I'm talking about the people in there, because majority of them are really probably good people that don't realize that they are right now just mesmerized, and some of them might be bad. That they're not everybody's good, but don't even waste your time and energy on all of that stuff. But Michael Wolf, let me tell you now why it's important. So when we started our live today, I told you that Michael Wolf went after Ellie Leonard. Michael Wolf blocked me. Michael Wolf has also went dark on a lot of people after the Epstein Files dump. But Michael Wolf, right prior to that, did something interesting. Michael Wolf did something extremely interesting prior to that. And Michael Wolf, he decided that he's going to do a GoFundMe, raise money to go after Melania Trump. And he decided to do that on the tense that Melania Trump was planning on suing him. Now, Michael Wolf got this idea after speaking to Hunter Biden, because originally Melania was planning on suing Hunter Biden. For those of you that don't remember, Hunter Biden was the first one to go on and say that, Melania was in the Epstein files, or, Trump met Melania. I don't know exactly what the accusation was. And then after speaking, Wolf, after speaking to Hunter, and Hunter telling him that he didn't have the finances to go after and sue Melania, Michael Wolff all of a sudden goes out, makes a statement, where then Melania attacks him the same way she attacked Hunter Biden. And all of a sudden, Michael Wolff opens up a GoFundMe. He opens up a GoFundMe and he raises almost $1 million to go out there and sue Melania. And at first, nobody thought anything of it. I didn't think anything of it. I actually, like I said, I was planning on interviewing Michael Wolff. I was excited about speaking to him. I thought he had a great idea because just like the way Michael Cohen and others speak, Michael Wolff sold this like some kind of important and great idea. And, I thought to myself, if what he's trying to do, absolutely it's worth it. But God works in mysterious ways, and a few days ago, I happened to get introduced to an incredible one of the top lawyers in New York City, probably in the country, top lawyers, defamation lawyers that handles defamations. He handles anti-slap suits, slap suits, all of that type of stuff. And I was speaking to him about certain stuff, and we got into this conversation. And I asked him a question. I said, because something was bothering me. I said to him, I said, listen, I said, can this anti-slap suit that Michael Wolff is doing right now, I want to ask your advice because, first of all, tell me a little bit more about it. How realistic is it? So we sat down and he gave me an honest conversation, and I'm going to have more on it. So this is just the beginning of getting into what's happening with Michael Wolff, but this is an important conversation, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this. So basically, Michael Wolff is trying to sue Melania on the pretenses that she threatened to sue him. Now, in New York, as I've been explained, that is a very, very hard hill to climb, first of all. Second of all, Melania right now is trying to fight service to where she's going to get it. Either in Florida or New York. She's saying she lives in Florida because if she gets the court thrown in Florida, the case is probably going to get thrown out right away. If she gets served in New York, then the process begins. But the process begins. And then the process begins to actually, then Michael Wolff would have to try to somehow set a precedence that to be able to sue on an anti-slap lawsuit while not actually being sued. Now, let me tell you where the punchline comes in, why this is important. Because I turned around to the lawyer and I asked him, and I said to him, I said, yeah, but isn't it worth it? Even though, they might not win or get, but at least part of the lawsuit, there's going to be discovery. And this is where Michael Wolff is the biggest push. He keeps saying that he wants to get Melania into discovery so we could get all this information. And this is why people send all this money because they want to support, because we want to get the truth. So here's where the interesting part that the lawyer said to me. He said to me, Lev, he goes, that I don't see how that could happen. He goes, the chances of being wrong are very slim. He goes, I'll still look into it. And that's why, we're still looking into it. He goes, but as far as I understand, and he goes, I've been doing this for over 50 years. He goes, and he's one of the most prominent lawyers in the city. He goes, is the process first? He would have to win to get and set a precedent that he could sue Melania for that. If he could sue Melania for that, then the what's it called? What the reward is, the automatic reward for the dismissal is a dismissal of the case and payment for attorney's fees. So I said, wait a second, let's stop for a second because that doesn't make sense. What do you mean? You mean that if Michael Wolff wins his case, if right away he serves Melania and the judge rules for him and says, yes, Michael Wolff, you have the right to sue Melania for this anti-slap suit, then basically what takes place is the case automatically gets dismissed. But since there wasn't a case even filed, it would mean that the case wouldn't even be allowed to be brought. And then Melania would have to pay his legal fees. Okay, I said, well, let me ask you a question. What happens to the GoFundMe money? If Melania is going to pay his legal fees, what's going to happen to that almost millions of dollars? He looked at me and he laughed. He said, well, what can I say? I have a problem with that, folks. I have a problem with that because these same people are the ones that are going out there accusing others and about all kinds of shit. So, you know what? We're going to get to the bottom of it. And we're going to get to find out what Michael Wolff is trying to achieve, what he can or cannot do, what this anti-SLAPP suit is really about, if he really even has a chance. Excuse me, if he even has a chance of deposing Melania, if he even has a chance of getting through to this or doing all of that stuff. We're going to get to the bottom of all of the uh, uh, and I'm just telling you. So, Michael Wolff, stay tuned. We're only going to get started. I'm speaking to a lot of prominent anti-defamation lawsuit and trying to figure out what he's planning, how he's planning on even getting Melania there, and why in the effing world are we sending him $1 million to go sue? I mean, that story is completely off the walls, especially after he just reportedly made over $13 million on his book. I mean, a lot of craziness going on in this community, and I'm trying to clear it up and speak truth to power. So we're going to speak about Michael Wolff this week a lot, not just Michael Cohen, folks. And Michael Wolff has a lot of explaining to do. Also, very importantly, as I said to you, we're going to speak about this week Tulsi Gabbard. Quickly, as you can see what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, there's a lot of going on behind the scenes. It's also connected to what's going on in Georgia, election reform. As I've been reporting to you, Tulsi Gabbard is in charge of putting together information to be able to put the narrative, change the story where there was election fraud going on in Georgia, and that there was also foreign interference, not Russian interference, but foreign interference. And that's important because if they could prove that, or if they could accuse that, that will enable Trump to, like he was talking about, do not the insurrection law, but start federalizing the what's it called, elections in the 15 different states. So they're gonna be all over this week. Also, about the whistleblower complaint, about the conversation between Kushner and Iran, the fact that these conversations are all linked to what's happening in Venezuela, the fact that the Maduro regime is all in place and now playing nicey nice with Trump. Trump's basically accepting and now saying he might even visit Venezuela. So there's a lot that we're going to go on this week, and there's a lot to stay tuned. So, folks, I ask you to, if you haven't, if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Subscriptions are for free, but that's the number one thing. If that's the only thing you could do, that's the biggest thing, because being a subscriber, you're part of the family, you're part of the movement, you're able to, get the information, you're able to pass it on and pass it on to maybe people that can become contributors or paid subscribers. For those of you that can become paid subscribers, I ask you and I tell you it's extremely important, not only because, yes, it helps me sustain and do this because I do this full time, as you could see it 24 hours, 7 days a week, almost sometimes, to be able to save our democracy. It takes a lot, takes a toll. So your paid subscriptions not only help with that, but most importantly, and this is what I want to get to you, with the more paid subscribers, the more the algorithms push our information. And that is why some people out there that are pundits, that have never met Donald Trump, that have no idea what they're talking about, but because they have huge followings and paid subscribers, their information, the algorithms puts it ahead of ours. So just like I ask you to keep smashing those hearts, just like I keep telling you, bring more people on. If you can, becoming a paid subscriber is probably the best thing you could do, with the algorithm, with everything else. and then obviously signing the Epstein file petition. During the live, you could see that it's been being passed around. Folks, we have close to 30,000 signatures. We need to keep getting more. I'm holding it back because I want to give it there when we have a little bit more of signatures. I want to reach over 30, and we're going to hand it over to Congress this week. Also, very importantly, as you can see, we have a volunteer hotline, Lev PTTP at proton.me. Extremely important for those of you that can join the hotline, join the volunteer group, because again, this is a family, this is a movement, and we help any way we can. Everybody contributes whatever they can. It's like, when you throw a party and everybody just, somebody brings dessert, somebody brings the hot plate, somebody brings water, somebody brings the drink, somebody brings the chips. It's one of those. It's a family. We all unite and we all do everything. And I want to make it clear for those of you that can't become paid subscribers or can't contribute to the GoFundMe or to the Vem. I want to make it clear. Do not feel bad in any way. I did this, and I want to make it very, very clear. You are still part of this family. You matter, and you matter just as much as anybody else, because you might be doing more work. You might be one of these people writing these letters to the colleges and doing other stuff. All of it is important. So that's why I say, become a subscriber, sign the petition, join the volunteer hotline. All of those things are for free. The other things, if you can, go the extra mile, become a paid subscriber, contribute to the GoFundMe, because now, as you could see, we're not just sitting still. We're already on the move. Next week, next following weeks, we have a lot more planned and ahead. We have big news coming up. We have big announcements and things that we're going to be doing. Plans that we're partnering up with others, and things that we're going to be going out to be able, and we are going to, I promise you, do everything we can to save our democracy. And I feel very strong we're going to do it, because there's a lot of things that I'm hearing, a lot of things behind the scenes that I can't share with you right now, that I will when the time is right. But I do see a really, really bright spot, and I see a light at the end of the tunnel, and there is going to be accountability for all of these people, and the time is coming, and I promise you that. Just we got to keep doing what we're doing, keep spreading the message, keep speaking truth to power, and keep supporting each other, uniting together. Ellie just texted me. I think she's putting together some also breaking news we might be putting out later today. But there's a lot going on. So folks, God bless each and every one of you. Before I forget, very important, I want to tell you, there's very few left of the shadow diplomacy. For those of you that don't know, I have decided, I have canceled my relationship with Amazon. I am no longer going to support Jeff Bezos and have my book being sold on Amazon. So the only place you could get shadow diplomacy is going to be on levremembers.com. It's the book, trust me when I tell you, connects the dots. You could also get it hardcover. You could also get it with me signing it personally to you with a signature. We have very few left, and then there's going to be a little delay until we are able to get another a printer to be able to print the books. So while they last, make sure you get them hardcover, soft cover, and signature, because I promise you, it's probably be one of the most informative information that will connect the dots to everything that is playing out here in front of your eyes. With that, folks, I want to wish you an incredible night. I hope you had a great Sunday, a great weekend, Valentine's weekend, whatever you did there. I know there was a lot going on this weekend, and I apologize if some of it's repetitive. I apologize if some of it sounds petty, and some of it might be petty, some of it might be repetitive. But at the end of the day, because this is what it takes to sometimes fight disinformation. Some of it, this is what it takes to keep, speaking truth to power. And sometimes, just for yourself, some of you could hear the same information because you see me on some different lives, on different shows. It might be repetitive to you, but be respectful to everybody else because a lot of people might not have heard it. And the one thing I say, if you heard me saying it earlier in the day, maybe move on, just go on, do something else. And if you don't want to hear it again, instead of writing messages and disrupting and having me move on to other things, because I try to make sure I give everybody fair enough and as much information as possible. Also, those of you that are joining late or sometime come in the middle, I recommend everything is taped and I put out on my Substack. I recommend that you go and if you miss something, you could see the videos, you could see my posts, you could see my letters, and I recommend definitely you go read the letter earlier today, go look at some of the posts that I put out there, and definitely go, to go look at the lives because I think there's a lot of tremendous breaking news today, a lot of important information, a lot of stuff that will show heading into the week. With that, God bless you guys, and thank you for all the support. And I'm going to go try to get a few hours of sleep because we have a full week ahead of us tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Have a good night.